So the same things we're going to be say that as per this we discuss about some policies. So same thing is applicable on the standards, right? So what do you mean by the standards? What is the use of standard? Who's going to approve the standard? Who's going to create the standards? Same question will be there. So as per Ashutosh told that this is the rules, this is the configurations. Yes, it is right. Anything else you would like to add into the same question? So you have seen that what is the industry standards? Okay, you have seen that Netflix, Uber, and different big companies they have some IT standards. What do you mean? The industry standard I'm talking about here.
They are following PCI standards. Some companies they follow by GDPR standards, ISO standards. We can say like.
Right.
Sorry, I was disconnected. Yeah. Let's suppose we have phone pay was there. There is some ISO 2700 standards, PCI standards. They have mentioned also.
Yes, you're
they
right.
follow
So,
particular standards.
So you can say it's a rule, it's a principle, it's a technique, it's a process, something like that. Okay. So it's designed to provide the consistency in the planning, development, and operations. So what type of planning, what type of development, what type of operations? This is the standard we will going to show you. Will tell you that what type of standards the company. Right? You have seen that we in this process in the standard you can say that CMMI. I think you understand the CMMI level companies. Okay, somebody will say there's some CMMI level 5 companies we have. What does it mean? Sorry, CMMI.
It's like MNCs.
Yes, what does it mean? They have some standard, my dear.
Like they have the companies will be there in multiple locations, multiple countries.
Okay, anything else?
I don't know, sir. I'm just guessing.
So CMI, do you know what is a CMI full form? Capability, maturity, model integration. And level 5, level 3, level 2. This is the things. Wait a second, I'm gonna show you something. Okay, see, suppose somebody will say my level 5. So what do you mean? You can say simply go to those images and then take a look here. Right. So this is the level 5. So this company is focused on the process improvement, my dear. This is optimizing. Somebody will say my company is level 2, is managed. Somebody will say we have level 1, so initial, unpredictable, poorly controlled, and relative. So there is no control over the resources. So which companies are going to show that our company is CMI level 5? So all the IT software companies, software-based companies are going to doing it. Why? Because they are processed. Okay, they are processed how available. Okay. So in this particular picture, you have seen it. In this particular focus on process improvement, because they already reached the high level, they're going to do some improvement areas will be there. So suppose CMI level 3 company process characteristics for the organization and it's proactive. They are still working on the same. Suppose you are working on a level 1 company, so it's a poorly controlled reactive things. There is no standards for the software. There is no soft servers, databases, and nothing like that. So this picture will tell you the whole difference about the standards, right? So if we're talking about more picture into the same, so in this particular see that we have some continuously improvement process. It's a discipline process. It's a standard, constant process is all about. The predictable process is all about. So initial, repeatable, defined, managed, and optimizing level. So we have 5 levels will be there. And you suppose your company is here, you're going to move into this particular things. So there is no control, there is no fully control over your things. So why I'm talking about all those things. I'm talking about these things because suppose you are working in a company, there is no process, there is no standards. What type of suppose you want to develop application? What is the server requirement? You don't know. 8 GB RAM, 12 GB RAM, what type of processor? You don't know. Then once you have the platform hardware will be there. Then what type of coding? The PHP, Java, or what type of codes? Who's going to testing it? Who's going to verifying it? Who's going to what the production is all about? So there's no process is there, my dear friends. So I'm talking about here. You need to process oriented companies will be there. Okay, so we have some standards. So I'm talking about more thing is the configurations part. It's more there, right? So this is the standards you're going to follow in it. So you're going to create some different type of standards. I'm going to provide you some templates for standards. Just try to create and share to me, right? This is the standards will be there. Okay, the another thing is guidelines. What do you mean by guidelines? Any ideas?
Guidelines needs which we need to apply, which we need to follow for particular policy.
Guidelines are only suppose your company HR says that you no need to bring the pen drives, hard drives in the company. Guidelines say that you will going to get the 15% of discount in the company once you're going to procuring any laptop or any IT assets in the company. Okay, so this is general guidelines. Is going to following it or not following it is depend on you. This is very basic things is all about, right? So guideline, what you can say that guidelines are the statement in a policy procedure which determine a course of actions. What type of action you want doing it? So it's a recommendation or suggestions of how things should be done. It means that the flexible so that it can be customized at individual situations. So company guidelines say that you don't need to take coffee on the table once you're working. It's a guidelines from the HR. The guidelines of HR that you need to provide your PF information to us so that we're going to be mapped to your accounts. The company guidelines say that you need to provide your banking information to us so that we're going to open your accounts. So this is general guideline. It's not mandatory yet. It's a guideline. There's suggestions you can say that simply. And it is created by the HR. Okay. Simple thing is there. Then we're talking about some baselines. Okay, you're going to discuss a strategy. Strategy versus planning. Yes, any difference? Do you know something about that? What is the strategy versus the planning is all about? Yes,
Strategy, we can set set of instructions to achieve a goal, and planning will be detailed information or detailed task to achieve the goal.
yes, you're right. You're right, Safari. Exactly, exactly same. So a strategy is all about understanding your environment. Okay, what type of environment do you have? Okay, so it's a choices about that what you will do. Suppose India team is going to playing a match against Australia, and India team going to Australia. Okay, and India team is going to play into the Perth in Australia. So Perth, the pitch is very bouncy pitch is there. So what is the strategy for the Indian bowling? What is strategy of Indian batting? So they know that what is the environment, the conditions, everything. And after that, they are going to create strategies. Right? But once you
Yes.
talk, once you're talking about the planning part, so it is detailed. Okay, planning. If you're talking about the planning part, so I'm going to show you something very special for you. Suppose you are a project manager and you're going to do some planning. So I'm going to show you that how much difference in the planning. So this is what I'm going to teach my students in the project management PMP. So you will see that what is the difference in the planning is all about. The planning is more information about all those things. I think you are able to see the things. So planning phase, development management plan. Okay, you want to create some work background structures, define the scope, collect requirements, scope management. Okay, you want to create some sequence activities, develop a schedule, planning schedule management, define activities, sequence activities. Then we're talking about some cost management. Okay, we're talking about some quality management. We're talking about some human management. We're talking about some communication management. We're talking about some risk management. Perform quantitative risk analysis, perform risk process responses, plan procurement management, plan stakeholder management. So you have seen that number of things, detailed information about the planning. This is what the planning is all about. Each and everything. So that's the difference about the planning versus the strategies. Okay, then we're talking about some baselines. What does it mean? Because this is going to be asking to you at any times. Yes, any ideas? Baseline, you can say that minimum security level of anything, of any devices, any systems, like that. You can say that in the system, network, devices, this is minimum to minimum security will be there. Okay, baseline security is there. Minimum level of security of the system, networks, anything like that. Suppose you are going to onboarding a employee in the company. So what type of baselines you want to be following it? You are going to configure at least in the Office 365 MFA will be there, multi-factor
Yes.
authentications. Okay, and you want to say that, sir, you're going to be logging with your phone number and your email ID requirement, personal email ID, so that OTP will be going there. So this is a baseline. This is the minimum level of security at least you want to providing to the company. Okay, and if you're talking about networking point of view, then you once you're going to log in to the network devices, okay, you always need your user ID, not other IDs, because you have some rights on your the escalation privileges will be happen with other IDs. So you have some administrator IDs will be there. So minimum security, you have some read-only rights of any IDs. Once you log in with anything in the networking device, you have at least read-only rights will be there. Modify, nothing is there. It's not there. So minimum you want to read only. Modify foundation phone or email you want doing it. So this is the baseline will be there. Okay. Then we're talking from process. What is SOP? You're going to say, please follow the SOP. What does it mean? So SOPs are the
Standard operation procedure.
Yes,
Standard operation procedure.
step-by-step action to flow control. Okay, you have to go step by step to follow the controls, flow control. Okay, so processes. Suppose I'm going to be showing to you. It's an example I'm going to show to you. This is the flow chart, and this is the flow. Okay, this is step-by-step process. This is SOP. This is the flow chart will be there, but which step, first step, second step, third step, fourth step, 5 step, 6 step, and the closing will be there. So once you're going to write down the documentation in the Word format, it's a SOP will be there. And once you're going to be creating this type of chart, this is a flow chart will be there. So this is called flow chart. And once you writing down the documentation, it's a your SOP will be there. First step, second step, third step, fourth step. This is going to be mentioned into the same. So there's a flow chart will be there. Same thing is this is the more accurate or more information will be there. But if you're going to write down into the Word format, then the step first, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6 is going to be showing it out. So I hope you understand this, all those things, standard guidelines, strategies, baseline process, SOP is all about. And we also covered this data flow is all about. So we are here. This is the second thing, the next year's operation of information security. So number of questions will be coming. Third one is human resource security, my dear friends. What do you mean by HR security? So in the HR security, I'll tell you honestly that what is a PII? Data privacy I'm talking about here. So data security versus data privacy. Okay, and I'm talking about PII. Personal identified information is all about.
Identified information.
Yes. Tell me something about all those things. What do you understand all those things? Any ideas? Because Ashutosh, I think you remember we had about data security versus the data privacy. We discussed earlier.
Personal identified information is like our information. Generally, we can go to the any shopping malls, we can or any stores. They are taking our informations, right? So those kind of our mobile numbers, email IDs. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right. You are right. So first of all, suppose you are HR, my dear. Okay, Ashutosh and Krishna. So for any onboarding in the company and any offboarding in the company, what is the process you are doing it?
First, we can take the induction
Training,
screening.
right? Employment. Okay. Any ideas? Just let me know. What do you mean by screening? What do you mean in terms of employment? Tell me.
Your background verification screening.
Yes. Information security. Okay. Awareness. Training and education. So this is all those things provided by the company, the HR. Do you think? Have you got the awareness training? Have you got a training? Have you got education from the HR and they will going to send an email to you?
Yes, yes. Generally, we will get those kind of emails from them.
Disciplinary process they're going to doing it. How you going to be discipline going to maintain in the company? They were helping out into the same.
Sir, we are going to provide those trainings, sir, awareness trainings in your company, in our company. Like we have to take some sections like that for the employees there. If you are working as an auditor.
Pardon?
Sir, did you get my question?
No.
It's our responsibility
This is the
to take
responsibility of,
awareness training.
we are talking about human resource security. So how do you going to secure, what are the evidences, what are the, how you can do audit of the human resource? So first of all, if an auditor, you should understand what are the responsibilities of the HR. And then you're going to take some evidences. So I'm talking about that you're going to do screening of the employee. What do you mean by screening of the employees? You're going to do some background check.
Yeah.
Okay, background checking. And in the background checking, what you want to doing it? You're going to ask some documents, company documents, qualification documents, okay, and the employment documentations, appraisal, number of things. So all this comes under the PII, personal identifying information is all about, right? And it's a sensitive data.
Yeah.
Right? The terms of condition of the employment. Okay, is there any legal? Is there any bonds? Is there any agreement with the employees? And what are the salary statement? What are the income tax ITR? It's all about what are the taxes? What are the allowances? Is all about. It's a part of the employment conditions. Yeah. Information security awareness training and education going to provide by the HR. They're going to help out how you going to train the employees. They're going to training the employees of employees. They have help to the same. They're going to provide some disciplining access in the company. They would say that what is the right way of termination of the employees. So this is what you are the auditor, you're going to ask to the company, what tell me some screening documents. Please provide me some what are the trainings you are providing till now to your employees. They will going to tell that what are the awareness, what are different type of awareness trainings you have provided till now to your employees. What are the different type of terminations you have done? Tell me what are the smooth terminations. So this is what in the human resource management all about. Okay. Then we're talking about some more like asset management. Yes. What do you mean by asset management? What is assets? And how do you manage all those things? Yes. Tell me anything.
Sir, moving to asset management. See, we have HR policies are there, right? Hello.
HR policies are not of
Sir.
asset management.
Yeah, I'm getting. I have one doubt. See, this whatever the policies are there, we have to what we can do in this. We can provide in the awareness training. All we can provide the documents like that. We can set these policies document all these things. I
Yes.
think it's a problem. That's the reason. What kind of work we can do as an auditor?
We require the evidences. Suppose we first of all we require the HR policies, paper documents. Second thing, we would like to check the emails or anything like that, where it's the evidence will be there that you have sent an email to employees that for training awareness training.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, they will going to provide some emails, they will going to provide some documents, they will going to provide some word format, whatever. They have their own things is there. You require evidences as auditor. You're going to see the emails,
Okay.
you're going to see the mobile phones, you're going to ask the employees, you're going to see the mailbox of the employees, whatever the thing is will be there as per the company standards. Because they have the calendar invites, they have going to check anything like that. They have to see the agenda, anything, whatever it is applicable. Then we're talking about some and asset management. What is asset management is all about? First of all,
Got it, sir. Thank you. Asset management, like asset is like we have to secure our.
Yeah, Ashutosh, are you We have already asset management. We have done it here. Ashutosh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Asset
we have
management,
done
we
some
can say,
asset management. We have done it.
yes, yes.
What? So what do you understand by asset management?
Asset management, we can say the data,
Look at this. The asset security.
classification of data.
So how do you going to protect your data? Okay, the retention plan, classification of levels, right? The most important part is data ownership. We're talking about data ownership, data custodian, data owners, administrators, and users. Then we're talking about some data, the maintenance, so sanitizing, decoding, erasing, okay, and data classification criteria, data retention policies, standards we discuss about.
Yes.
So we have different type of standards, NIST, and we talk about some security policies, standard and guidelines. This is all about. This is all about. Yeah. So this comes under the asset security part. So I'm talking about here that suppose you have some assets. So data ownership is all about. Data custody is all about. Regular backups, ensure CIA, conduct user authorizations, implement of security controls, monitor security, apply security controls. So this is what the assets you're gonna be doing. So how secure you're going to be doing. So as per this point of view, I'm gonna be say that into the particular thing. Inventory of assets. So how do you going to maintain your assets in the company? I'm talking about the CMDB, change management databases. How much inventory is your company, first of all? Second thing is I'm going to asking ownership of assets. Who is the owner of the assets? Acceptable use of assets. Yes. Do you have any answers for the same? Return of assets. Okay, so how are you going to take the assets return?
Return of assets. Return of assets.
Yes.
And we need asset location as well, right, sir?
You know the disposal of assets. How are you going to doing it? Physical
Physical
media
assets.
transfer. How are you going to transfer the physical media? So this is all those things comes under my asset management here. Inventory of assets. How do you different type of assets in the company? Suppose you have an enterprise company, you have more than 2,000 assets in the company. How do you track? What's the guarantee? What is the warranty? Which things you need to be changing it? Ownership of assets. Who is the owner of the assets? How do you going to define acceptable use of assets? Which assets you going to accept? At which level? The return of assets. Suppose the company employee is going to be offboarded. How are they going to be return the assets? What are the policies you have? Disposal of assets. Which assets you're not going to using in the company after a specific period of time? Physical media transfer. How do you want to sending your physical media one location to another location? So this is the physical assets comes under the availability all the time. Okay, and as an auditor, we require the evidences. Understand? This is the thing to all about. So you require evidences, use some understanding basic fundamentals of those things. Then I'm talking about access controls. Yes, what do you mean by access control?
So we don't require asset location, sir.
Required asset location required. Yes, CMDB is all about the asset location, asset information, serial numbers, service tag number, models, make, everything is there.
Yeah, when we do the risk assessment on asset management, we can it will come on based on the asset location, right? So I have seen some document like that's the reason I'm asking.
Yes, you're right. So we have separate thing is access control. How do you control the access on the networks? User registrations and delegations. User access provisioning is all about. Management of privileged access rights. Yes. Any answers of access control? Do you know something about the access control is all about? Wait a second. I'm just taking it out if you have the mind sheet available.
Sir, I have one more question in asset management.
Yes.
How auditor will be check the all the evidences in asset management?
They're going to check it out how they're going to managing your assets in the company. Okay.
Is there any
Means that
particular documents we
they,
have to maintain for that?
which software you're going to using it first of all, and how many number of hardware and software licensing, all those things are in the company. Where is exactly location is all about. They're going to ask you some evidences. Suppose you will say that we have 1,000 assets in the company. They will go to know that share me some evidences for the same. Okay, so it's all about how much assets do you have, how into controlling all those things. This is what we are talking about here. So this is the access control things. Models, managed access control, dictionary access control, access-based controls, policy attribute-based controls, dynamic, rule-based access controls, and like firewalls, lattice interaction between the objects and subjects. So this is the models we are in the access controls. And what are the different ways? We have TECAS, authentication only. We have Radius provides AAA, authentication authorization accounting. We have TECAS plus AAA Cisco, TCP interaction are about diameter. So this is access control. So I'm talking about this is all things comes under the networks. So in this particular modules, access controls, we going to discuss about how we're going to provide the access control of your resources. So first of all, you're going to ask to the company that access control policy. So do you maintain any access control policy or not? First of all, they will say yes. So you're going to say, please share to me. Second thing, access to network and services. Okay. Suppose they will say that yes, we have some users who are going to log into the routers, switches, modems, or the debit or you can say applications, whatever. So you want to ask them what type of access rights you're going to provide to them. What are the services and what are the events? How going to track all those things? You say them access to application registration and registration. registration or unregistered of your applications or your devices or whatever. Suppose you can say that we have domain controllers, right? We're going to be create that domain ID and we're going to remove the domain ID. We're going to create the VPN ID, we're going to remove the VPN ID. So registration and re-registration. We're going to provide some licensing to the users in Office 365 environment. We're going to remove the license from the users. User access provisioning. Yes. So in the user provisioning, implemented assign or revoke access rights to the all users types of all systems and services. Done well, it ties with the points about the HR security work is all about. So suppose any user is terminated or offboarding it. So what are the ways, what are the policies, what are the documents do you have? You want to remove all those rights. Suppose any onboarding will be there. What type of access control? What are the rights you want to provide to the users? Okay, that another thing is management of privileged access rights. So what type of rights you want to provide to the users? Suppose Ashutosh and Krishna, you hired a manager of IT manager or finance manager. What type of rights you want to providing to them? Privileged access rights. What type of rights you want to providing? So you go to ask to the data owner, and the data owner will let you know what type of rights you want to provide to the user. Right? So data owner is the right person to provide the access rights